Yo, what's good, man? How's everybody doing out there? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Welcome in, man. Welcome in. Welcome in. We're almost at the weekend, baby. Yes, sir. You guys ready? You guys ready for the weekend, man? I hope everybody's had a great week so far, man. We're going to get started in just 1 second, man. Yup. We got a lot to talk about today. Alrighty, man. Alright. Welcome in. And welcome to another episode of the Jayson Estrera podcast, where we talk about basketball as accurate as possible. Now, a lot happened in the world of basketball over the last 48 hours. Believe it or not, a lot has happened in the NBA and in the world of basketball. I gotta stop saying We'll start with the shocking news. It happened on Wednesday, I believe. Or it happened yesterday. But prayers to the Arenas family for Elijah Arenas, specifically, who was in a car accident Thursday morning, I believe it was. He was in a medically induced coma and he has come out of it. So, I'm not no doctor or nothing like that. I just that was a great sign. That was a great thing to read and hear this morning. And, we could talk about, basketball, but him being good and healthy was, top of the mind. It was at the top of the mind, and you love to hear that. So prayers up to him and their family. I knew there was something up. It was yesterday, actually, because I'll typically get the notification on my phone, right, when Gil's Arena goes live. They have like 3 or 4 notifications, the vertical one, this one, that one, and I was like, I didn't see anything. And then that news came out. So yeah, rough times, but I hope everything turns out all right, and I hope everyone is okay. Apparently there was one kudos to the people that had helped him, right? They saw the window and got him out of it. So kudos to those people. But also, apparently the first words he said was anyone hurt or is everyone okay? Obviously thinking about other people in that situation and hoping that he didn't hurt anyone else. So unfortunate, but hopefully he's going to be all right. Now, on to some lighter news, right? We have some awards. Right? So Evan Mobley is your defensive player of the year, right? He won defensive player of the year. We just got the Peyton Pritchard announcement the other day, and the other big one is Jalen Brunson as the clutch player of the year. And I have to say, I guess when it comes to seeing a lot of the polls at the end of the year, right, it was a lot of Evan Mobley first. So that wasn't super surprising to me. I will say I thought that, Draymond Green's campaign could have been enough, right? I thought it could have potentially been enough, but he fell a little bit short. And so it goes to Evan Mobley. And then clutch player of the year, the captain, El Capitan. Honestly, I wanted to name the episode El Capitan. I don't know how to spell it. So I just put the captain. So with so I wouldn't run the risk of looking like a complete moron, which I do anyway. I just put the captain. But and he put that on full display last night, right? And we'll talk about that a little bit later, but we'll go down the list. So we'll start from Wednesday's games. on to last night's games, right? So Wednesday's games was the Orlando Magic going up against the Boston Celtics. Now, Jason Tatum did not play this game. I think it was from a stat, the first game that Boston hasn't played in the playoffs without Jason Tatum since 2017. And I don't think anyone expected Boston to lose this game, even without Jason Tatum, right? They win 109-100. And we talked about it already, right? It was an opportunity for Jaylen Brown to get his legs under him and get into rhythm, right? We saw Derek White have a big game, game one. Jaylen Brown put up 36 in game two, right? 36, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal. Shot great. 12 of 19 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3, 7 of 8 from the free throw line. And then Porzingis and Derek White were getting their shots up too, which you like to see, right? Being aggressive. And so this kind of went exactly how we thought. I really want to talk more about the Orlando Magic because we've spoken about this team in recently. Those guys need some help, man. I get that their game could be a little bit slow and it could be a little bit boring, right? It's funny because we brought it up. Everyone's been complaining about the style of play that everyone likes to play. Well, the Orlando Magic look like a blast from the past most nights. I know they can get their 3-point shots up as well, but a slow half-court game using their bigs. They really have an old school feel to their game. And they have 2 stars. And they're not going to get their credit. They didn't get it last year. There's been little rumblings of it, but Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner are really good at basketball. These guys are really good at basketball, and they're big, they're crafty, they're skilled, and they're very tough, right? They don't shy away from contact. I think especially this more so Paolo, I think he could be better on defense. There's a lot of times where he's kind of standing around. He's not rotating over when he should be. Especially with a body and a size like his, you want him to be a little bit more active on defense just to be a physical body, a presence there, right? Obviously, you don't want him to pick up a whole bunch of fouls either, but those 2 guys are really good. And Wendell Carter, I think, is a really active body for them. I think he's solid. They're really hurting on not having Mo Wagner. And obviously Jalen Suggs. But I think the reality when you look at the Orlando Magic is they, need an upgrade at the point guard position. They could run it back with Suggs and see how he develops if his 3-point shot gets a lot better. Because I think they need shooting first and foremost, which is what KCP is supposed to be doing for them. But 1 of 9 from the field and 0 of 6 from 3 in 34.5 minutes and 3 points is just not going to cut it. Right, so that's the other part. They need an upgrade at their 2 guard. They need a 40% shooter. That's essentially what they need at this point, because their 2 forwards are great. I think they have 2 bigs that they could rotate between Wendell Carter and Mo Wagner when he's healthy. So they have a lot of the pieces that you need. I don't think they'll get a Trae Young, but I think a Trae Young would be really good. And I would say, in theory, if you could keep Jalen Suggs and have Trae Young come in, Suggs off the bench or something like that, that would be great. But I doubt that would happen. You would probably need Jalen Suggs in a trade like that. But these guys need some shooting, and they need a good point guard that can get everyone else involved, because they're 2 guys. They're good. Like those 2 guys are fine. Both could improve a lot from the 3-point line, Banchero and Franz Wagner, but those 2 guys are good at ball, and they're really solid. So, Franz got 2 steals, Paolo got 2 blocks. I mean, they're just filling gaps for each other, essentially. We're seeing more assists and more rebounds out of Paolo Banchero as of late, I feel like. So Definitely a solid team. I still don't think they win a game. It's possible they win a game, but I don't think they will. So I think this is a clean sweep for Boston. Let's see. All right, we are moving right along because we are now going to talk about the. Where is this? We're going to talk about the Cleveland Miami Heat game. And that game ended 121 to 112, going to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And for a little while there, it looked like Miami had this game. 33 out of Tyler Herro doing everything he can. 14 of 24, 4 of 11, 1 of 2 from the line, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 turnovers. And you're getting 11 out of Bam, going 3 of 9, 14 rebounds though and 9 assists, which is good, and only 10 points out of Andrew Wiggins. So that's not what you want to see. Davion Mitchell had 14 in the fourth quarter, and that really he was pretty much trading with Cleveland by himself at one point, but it was not enough because Donovan Mitchell had 17 in the fourth quarter to close this game out. And then after the game, this was the interesting part. We'll take a look at this.
For us, and that got them going.
Since they got guys at the trade deadline, Miami's been really good at turning teams over, but the first 2 games, you guys have really held on to it. Just what's the key to playing clean basketball like that against a team like that?
Pick on Tyler Herro and take care of the ball. Don't play in tight spaces.
He didn't even smile when he said that. He was dead ass serious, and I think that means one thing, that's really a part of their game plan, right? But 2, Tyler Herro was talking a lot of shit that game. He talks a lot of shit, and that sounded like a guy that was fed up with him. And so, you don't typically get a response like that out of Darius Garland, I feel like. And, it was just funny to hear that. Now, can Miami take a game or 2 off of this Cleveland Cavaliers team? And I think it showed, for parts of that game, even without a strong game out of Bam or Andrew Wiggins, that they can keep the game tight. Going back home, hopefully you get more out of Bam, get more out of Wiggs, more of the same out of Tyler Herro, and you could potentially take a game off of Cleveland. But I think Cleveland just has too much firepower. You get 30 out of Mitchell, but you get 20 out of Darius Garland, 20 out of Mobley, 14 out of Strus, 12 out of DeAndre Hunter, and just all of their numbers are just so spread out. And I wanted to highlight Donovan Mitchell in this, right? Because I saw on like the Kenny Beecham podcast, they were talking about he was specifically talking about how 95% of the time the number 1 scoring option is also the best player on a team, and he thinks that this is one of those few occasions when it comes to the Cleveland Cavaliers where Evan Mobley is the best player on their team and it's not Donovan Mitchell. And I strongly disagree with that. I think the Donovan Mitchell that we see right now, who has really taken a bit of a step back as a player for this team, right? And allowed everyone else to play their role at a really high level. Him, let's see, regular season. right? His 24 points per game is the lowest since his third season, right? He's a guy that's dominated the ball and he's had success doing it. They were in the playoffs year in and year out. And so, out of the players on Cleveland, and this is the worry that I had, out of the players from Cleveland, when you need someone to kick up in the playoffs and do more than they've been doing in the regular season, out of that whole team, the only one that I could count on to consistently do that is Donovan Mitchell. If Darius Garland drops off from 20 to 22 to like 18, 17 points, I think Donovan Mitchell can make up for those and get you 35. Like, that's the kind of player that he is. And I don't think anyone else on this team has that capability. Hello, Bruce. Hello. The game last night proved the Knicks will not win a chip this season. Even when we win, you got something bad to say. Even when we win, we can't get a good game out of you. Nothing. It's okay, man. We take it. You guys don't look like y'all in a good spot either. So, hey, man, we're gonna talk about that. But I wanted, honestly, more so than this game, because like I said, I think there's a possibility that Miami steals the game. I don't see it though. Where does Donovan Mitchell rank amongst two guards in the NBA? People are gonna say Jalen Brown, Devin Booker, right? Jalen Williams, right? Jalen Green. Is Jimmy Butler still count as a two guard, or is he like a small forward, power forward nowadays, right? I would say Bradley Beal, but he's not on there. Honestly, I think Donovan Mitchell might be, especially this season. Oh, Anthony Edwards. He's right there with all of these guys. I think he's better than Devin Booker right now. I think it goes in terms of shooting guards in the NBA. I think it's Anthony Edwards, Jaylen Brown, Donovan Mitchell. And honestly, I think you could even argue, because like I said, the reason why Donovan Mitchell's numbers are down is because he is purposely taking a step back to let the rest of his team flourish. But in terms of the actual game itself, I think he shoots the basketball just as good as any of those guys. He's athletic and explosive. He could finish at the rim. He had a good handle on the ball. He could pass the ball. He understands the game. This guy is really good, man. This guy's really good. I think he's there was a list of the poll of the underrated players. I think he is a seriously underrated player. Super clutch. Has big games. Like I said, outside of maybe Anthony Edwards and Jaylen Brown, and I think really the thing that takes both of those guys over the top is their defense, right? Jaylen Brown, also another player that's forced to take more of a backseat because of the role that he plays on this team, right? But especially after seeing how Devin Booker has been, regardless of how many points he's scoring, I think Donovan Mitchell is better than him. There's nothing that he doesn't do well. If we're really being honest, right, when you're talking about Donovan Mitchell. But we're going to move right along. And, of course, Bruce wants to leave, right? Well, we're about to talk about the Golden State Warriors. But we're going to talk about the Golden State Warriors because they had a little bit of a rough time. They lost 109-94 in Houston. Jalen Green had a big game. 38 points, 13 of 25 from the field, 8 of 18 from 3, 4 of 5 from the line, to go with 4 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals. Sengun had 17 and 16 rebounds with 7 assists and 2 steals. So big games from both of those guys. Steph Curry had 20 points, 6 of 15 from the field, 4 of 9 from 3, 4 of 4 from the line, to go with 5 rebounds, 9 assists, a steal, and a block. And the big number is 7 minutes and 52 seconds for Jimmy Butler, who unfortunately left the game early with an injury.
Pajemski back on the floor. Let's keep an eye on him. That one, oh, look out. Wow, Butler goes down hard. Thompson comes underneath Butler. He was bumped as well, and Jimmy Butler's legs went right out from under him. Straight contact on the floor.
Listen, this series is incredible as far as...
And I don't know what's been going on. Everybody's been dropping like flies, apparently. Jimmy Butler's out. And or at least for the rest of that game, he was out. And it completely changed the complexion of the game, right? Houston was already up 22-15, but they were really able to unleash after that point. And it's because the only person that they have to worry about is Steph Curry, right? We've all seen the numbers. They're 10th or the bottom of the league, or towards the bottom of the league in a lot of stats that they were all of a sudden at the top of once Jimmy Butler joined. They were a 10th seed without Jimmy Butler. They had a good start to the first 2-3 weeks of the season, but they were a 10th seed before Jimmy Butler got there. And I think that that's sort of the reality with this basketball team. Now, I expect Jimmy Butler to play, right? They get 2 days off, I believe, so I expect him to play. But how effective he's going to be is the question, right? Now, in terms of the game itself, right? Houston isn't doing anything extremely special, right? Jalen Green got off last night, and that was really the difference, right? It was a 15-point victory. Jalen Green to Steph Curry, he was plus 18 in the points category, so that was the difference in the game, was Steph's production compared to Jalen Green's production. And the Houston Rockets' entire game plan is to put Steph Curry in a straitjacket pretty much from when they inbounded. It's a very simple game plan. They're just extremely physical with him, bear hugging him. And like we've spoken about before, this is kind of how you guard him especially, but just offensive players. You just be overly physical with them. And you see how much the referees let you get away with. And they've let the Houston Rockets get away with quite a bit, if I'm being honest. And the thing that Steph Curry does well, which is play off the ball, at this point is kind of hurting them. It's kind of hurting them at this point, because there's a lot of possessions where where you'll see him just park himself in a corner to take the best defender, right? Amen Thompson out of the play, or Dylan Brooks out of the play, and let the rest of the teams play 4-on-4 on the other side, right? You've seen him do it a lot. He'll try his best to back pick when 2 guys are on him just to force another guy to get open. But what ends up happening is he doesn't get involved with the game. And even the best shooter in the world, if you go 5, 6, 7, 10 minutes without shooting a 3, it could still impact you. And so they made a little bit of an adjustment, if you notice, with the Golden State Warriors. During the second half of that game, they put the ball in Steph Curry's hands a little bit more. He was bringing the ball up a little bit more than he typically does. And that allowed him to, one, get free from the physicality, right? They were able to get clean, high pick and roll actions with him. He was able to hit some shots. If you notice in the game, when he was bringing the ball up, he was a lot more effective. And he was able to create plays for other people also, not just himself, right? Because the defense is constantly collapsing on him. And so they're going to need to do a lot more of that. I think they're going to have to play a little bit different from how they usually play, right? Where Steph has the ball at times. A lot of times he's off the ball, coming off screens and stuff. I think in this series, especially with questions about Jimmy Butler's health, Brandon Podziemski's health, Steph Curry is going to have to be a ball-dominant point guard, which he doesn't do consistently a lot, but I think he's very capable, and I think that's how they're going to win this series if they want to at this point with those health concerns. Now, if Jimmy Butler's healthy, I think that they'll be fine. Also, at what point is Steve Kerr going to help him? Like, at what point? I was watching the press conference, and Steve is talking about this is exactly what we expected, and we have to respond. And no, you don't. No, you don't. That is Wardell Stephen Curry. He don't have to deal with that type of physicality. You call out the NBA and the referee. You look the camera straight on and say, NBA, you know what to do. Like, what are we doing? At some point, and coaches have done this a lot. And I don't know, maybe he doesn't want to pull this card out too early in the playoffs, right? It's only the first round, but he needs to say something in order to get these guys off of Steph Curry's ass. And as we've seen, Steph Curry just needs a little bit of room. If you give Steph a little bit of room, he's going to make the most out of it. And so I think Steve needs to get on the refs. He needs to get on the NBA because they are bear hugging this man from half court. They are deadass bear hugging him. But a great game out of Houston. Great game out of Houston. If Jalen Green can be like this, sky's the limit with these guys, right? They're talking about players that could potentially go and join them. Some people have said Kevin Durant. Some people have said this and that. If this is the type of player that Jalen Green can become, right? An efficient 28-plus point per game scorer with a Sengun, with a Amen Thompson that's going to develop, Dylan Brooks doing his thing, Fred doing his thing, Tari Eason. I mean, these guys got so many players, man. Like, these guys got so many players. They're going to run into the problem of how are they going to pay everybody? So they're going to end up losing some of these guys is what I would imagine. But if this is the Jalen Green that they're going to get, sky is the limit for them. So I'm excited to see what this looks like moving forward, man. I'm excited. Now we're moving right along to my beloved captain, my guys, the New York Knicks. Bunch of controversy again, man. Like, we can't win a game without people complaining. Like you guys want to talk about backcourt violations, the shot clock. Like, you guys want to talk about everything but us winning. We got the win in Detroit. 118-116. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, right? When I watch these games, like, I'll have my little handy dandy notebook, right? I'm taking notes and shit. I have my analyst brain on while I'm watching these games, right? Especially in the end of the games. by like the 5-minute mark during Knicks games, I'll be honest with you, I black out. I black out. Like I don't even know what's going on anymore. Especially when it's close. I'm not analyzing shit. Like I black out at the end of Knicks games. I don't know if y'all do the same thing for your favorite teams. Right, you're over here just criticizing, analyzing every little thing. How are they guarding the pick and roll? How are they doing this? And like once the fourth quarter hits in the 5-minute mark, all of that shuts off. All of that shuts off. I'm straight fan mode. I'm throwing my Crocs at the wall. Just straight fan mode. So I don't know if you guys are the same way, but that is definitely what happens to me during Knicks games. I gave Jalen Brunson a lot of grief, right? I put up a short. He was playing hero ball. He was doing a lot by himself. And I'm not going to take credit for what happened during the game. But Karl Anthony Towns shot 18 times. OG Anunoby shot 17 times. And Mikal Bridges only shot 13 times. What did I say? Those two have to shoot more than Mikal Bridges. And so that was a great start to them playing the right way, right? They need to be able to evenly distribute these shots out, because on most of the guys on the Detroit Pistons, Karl Anthony Towns is the one that has the advantage. In most scenarios, outside of Dennis Schroeder and Tobias Harris, Jalen Brunson has a bit of a hard time against pretty much everyone else. It's tough, contested, physical shots. The only players he gets easy shots on consistently is Dennis Schroeder and Tobias Harris. Karl Anthony Towns, on the other hand, doesn't matter if it's Tobias. Doesn't matter if it's the Thompson twins. Doesn't matter if it's Jalen Duren. Like, he has an advantage on pretty much every matchup, so he needs to touch the ball a lot throughout the game. And then I love the way OG Anunoby scores. Right? I've given him a lot of shit too, but he it's really quick. It's like quick hits when he scores. He's gonna fake you one way, one dribble, shoot. Fake the other way, dribble, hezzy, get to the rim. He gets right to the point when he's scoring. That's how you could tell when he's engaged and when he's into the game versus when he's not. Because when he's not, you'll see him dribble the ball out and shit, do a whole bunch of other stuff. But when he's locked into the game, you could tell because he's quick hitting you, getting to the rim, getting to his shot. And it's a great mix, right? It's a great balance between Jalen Brunson, who could hold the ball a little bit, and Karl Anthony Towns, who could hold the ball a little bit at times also. And, you know, I love the fact that we answered the physicality. I love the fact that we answered the physicality. Detroit is going to be physical. And to the people that want to complain about the calls, I think they were going both ways. We were getting bad calls on both sides of the basketball. Right? So I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that shit. I will say, this guy Kay Cunningham is nice, man. This guy is like, I'm not trying to give him too much credit, but this guy Kay Cunningham is nice. Seeing him develop in the next couple of years is going to be really cool to watch. And Tim Hardaway was shooting the lights out. I want to say it was early, right? Yeah, he had 18 of his 24 was in the first half. So, you know, they could have really used his shooting in the second half, but it just wasn't there for them. Now, everyone is talking about this right here.
Ending that inbound. It goes.
What do you guys think? Was that a backcourt? Was that a backcourt? You guys see the hat. I don't see shit. And first and foremost, man, none of these players reacted neither. None of the Detroit players, none of the Detroit bench, no one's reacting.
It's off to Brunson.
They just let it play out. They just let it play out. So all the outrage of everybody who gets to watch it in super slow motion compared to these guys in real time, like, give me a break. They're still down 3. Y'all still down 3.
By Asar Thompson and the
Question is,
where he has not missed tonight, 10 of 10. Timeout Detroit.
Yeah,
With point.
where's this one? What's this one?
He did miss on purpose. There's the buzzer.
Look, I don't want to hear it about the backcourt call because they literally gave y'all a whole extra possession. The game should have been over right there. The game should have been over. They tried to give y'all a half second to try to make something happen. It's not my fault y'all don't got a timeout. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Jalen Brunson had every big shot down the stretch. They had every big shot down the stretch. And I love the toughness that those guys had. You know, Cade was able to get his assists. I think they're gonna have to see what his game is looking like on a night-to-night basis, right? Sometimes you got to meet him at the level of the screen. I don't love drop coverage with him. Sometimes you got to blitz him and double him. I think the other part too is I think Josh Hart got to play less. Teams are daring him to shoot. He's not shooting. Going into the offseason, and how old is Josh Hart? How old is bro? He's 30 right now. So there isn't going to be a massive shift, but aside from his shooting, right, which comes and goes, if his ball handling were better and his finishing at the rim were better, I think this wouldn't be as big of a problem. Because, you know, we've seen players who they leave like that, like a Rajon Rondo, for example. All he does is eat up the space and get a foot in the paint and make himself a threat. And there's times where Josh Hart cuts and he does a really good job of it. But when he catches the ball at the three-point line and he doesn't shoot it, then he starts getting into trouble. There's times where he can make a play and get to the basket, but if he just had a better handle, I think he'd be a lot more effective in that situation. But at this point in time, I think they're going to have to play Miles McBride a lot more and Mitchell Robinson. I think that's what they're going to have to do because they need someone who's a threat to shoot that three but can also put the ball on the floor, which Miles McBride could do. And then obviously you need to make up for some of the defense and the rebound for that Josh Hart would be giving up if he's not in the game, and you do that with Mitchell Robinson. So I think that's what they're gonna have to do moving forward. Josh Hart is the paint gets really clogged up when he's in the game, and so some of those driving lanes. That's why you see. Like, you see Cat got to stand there for a second, right? He'll catch the ball, and a lot of times he'll go right away. But somehow he's waiting because the paint is just clogged. He's waiting for guys to move out the way so he can just find the angle. And, you know, if you have Deuce McBride in the corners or at the wings waiting for that shot, I think it gives a little bit more room. So that would be the adjustment if I'm the New York Knicks. And if I'm the Detroit Pistons, man, I'm not giving y'all nothing. I'm not giving y'all shit. I'm not helping y'all nothing. We got the Tobias Harris that I was looking for, man. We got the Tobias Harris that I was looking for, man. 31.5 minutes, 5 points. 5 personal fouls, 6 rebounds, 2 of 9 from the field, 1 of 3. That's exactly the Tobias Harris I was looking for. Listen, man. Darius Garland said pick on Tyler Herro. The New York Knicks have to pick on Tobias Harris. I think that that's the bottom line. They gotta pick on Tobias Harris. And he was complaining a lot last night. He was complaining. It was getting to him, and I get it. It's frustrating to be in constant foul trouble, but you're also guarding Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns constantly. And, you know, there's teams like the Boston Celtics and the Lakers where, you know, some people complain that they matchup hunt too much. I think the New York Knicks aren't doing it enough. Right? So, you know, if you're the Detroit Pistons, you're going to try to get Tobias Harris off of those guys as much as possible, which means sending double teams, forcing help, especially if a Josh Hart is on the floor. Leave his ass in the corner is what I would do if I'm the Detroit Pistons, and I'm going to double on Brunson and Cat when Tobias Harris is on them. But that's all I'm giving up. That's all I'm giving up. Excuse me. We got to talk about these next two games. Did you guys see that comeback? 29-point comeback for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I was half paying attention to this game. I'll be honest with you guys. I felt like every time I looked up, they were within 5 and it just kept going down. The Thunder end up winning 114-108 against the Memphis Grizzlies, and really a big part of it, and I don't want to take credit away from the Oklahoma City Thunder, but this was a massive part
Wallace,
of what happened.
Jalen Williams on the dive, and look at Pippen. Rapper, look out. Oh boy.
He missed the 2 free throws. They got a layup. It was 69-40, and you know, then the Oklahoma City Thunder started chipping away. We got to get rid of this Memphis Grizzlies team, man. They got to blow it up. They got to blow it up, man. Like, Chet Holmgren got off in the second half. And a lot of it was because Zach Edey was guarding him. Zach Edey, he has some useful traits in the NBA, right? But right now he's a liability. He can't shoot the 3 ball, and they're gonna pick on him on offense. And even the guy that he's supposed to be guarding at Chet Holmgren, we saw him hit a whole bunch of threes and fake and drive just because he's too slow. And so if you're the Memphis Grizzlies, you can't keep leaving him on the floor. It's hurting you guys. The other part in this too is there is no way y'all lose a 29-point lead as a professional NBA team. That just can't happen. And as a number 2 seed, they were a number 2 seed at points in the season. They were in the top 5, hovering in that range with Ja Morant in and out the lineup. And so if you're the Memphis Grizzlies, you guys have to figure out a way to win that game, even against the number 1 team in the West. Like, you just have to figure out a way. And this is going to lead into the Denver Clippers game. But this is exactly why you don't get rid of your coach going into the playoffs. Game 3 for the Memphis Grizzlies against the Thunder, and also the Denver Nuggets against the Clippers, are prime examples as to why you don't get rid of your coach going into the playoffs. Both teams look lost. In the middle of the runs that Oklahoma City Thunder had, the Grizzlies look lost. Their coach looks lost. The Denver Nuggets look confused in the games. We saw Jokic going off in the sideline. This is a prime example as to why you don't change coaches. And this is the thing, right? the Grizzlies probably lose this series even with Taylor Jenkins as their coach. However, optics-wise, it just they look really confused out there. You get guys that just don't know what they're doing. No one's in the right spots. All the rotations look off. Everything is off. And they gave up a 29-point lead against the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's just unacceptable. You got to blow that whole team up. You got to blow the whole team up, man. And I don't know if you guys saw this. I don't know if you guys saw this last night. Let me see. But Scottie Pippen Jr., who's been really solid for these guys, decided to go kung fu fighting.
Pippen Jr. turns the corner to the rim, and it's going to be an offensive foul. A little bit of a leg kick down low. Hartenstein is taking some punishment in the quarter.
Talk about first getting knocked in the head, and then right here, ooh.
Oh, boy.
That, I think you have to take a look at that. Scottie Pippen Jr. leading with his foot. That's got to be upgraded.
That's crazy. That's that's crazy. That's wild. Like, I can't believe he kicked like that. And you know what's funny? What's funny to me is, like, you know, we've heard all this stuff about, you know, his mom, right? His mom. Which leads me to question, man, like, was that a little Dennis Rodman-ish? Was that a little Dennis Rodman-ish? Should he be Dennis Rodman Jr., not Scottie Pippen Jr.? Who is his mom messing with, man? We got to find out. We got to find out, because that kick looked a little Dennis Rodman-ish. I'm not going to lie to you. Looked a little Dennis Rodman-ish. Oh, man, but we gotta get rid of this Memphis Grizzlies team. I don't know about you guys. I was really praying that they lost that game. I was really pulling for them to lose that game, because I did not want that. I don't want that series to continue. The last thing I want is for that series to continue, right? So we need this series to end as soon as possible. We can't keep having this series. Oh, man. Oh, what is this? Vito. Hello, sir. I'm a Detroit fan, born and raised. First and foremost, gross look from our fan base chanting at Brunson. He has been nothing short of sensational. Best of luck in the series. All love from D. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Look at a wholesome interaction between opposing sports fans, man. Like I said, I really like the brand of basketball that y'all play in Detroit. I think you guys got a really good group. You guys are really just missing a star to go alongside Cade Cunningham to really start competing and going deeper in the playoffs. But you guys got a great base. I will say I did notice the fuck Jalen Brunson chants. Listen, man, I can't say nothing as, you know, coming from the fan base that was yelling fuck Trae Young in a playoff series either. And he kept burning us too. So I guess it's kind of similar. His fans are gonna fans, man. It is what it is. But I'm glad for as physical as this game has been, as this series has been, that it hasn't gone beyond that. Right? We've had a couple, you know, players going at each other, players drawing at each other, but for the most part, it looks like it's stayed within basketball. So that's beautiful. And again, we've talked about before how everyone was complaining. You know, we don't get physical games. This is, you know, we don't have none of this anymore that we used to. And we, for most of this year, I'll say, and especially in the playoffs, we have quote unquote old school basketball. We've got physical games. We've got guys talking trash. We've got fights almost. We've got game winners. We've got back and forths. I mean, this is exactly what fans have been asking for. And so I love this series. I think this has been a great series so far. And both teams have been playing incredibly well with their stars playing at high levels. So, to follow it up, what was supposed to be a continuation of another great series, right? Which is the Clippers and the Nuggets. And unfortunately for the Denver Nuggets, right? They lost 117-83. I will add, right, they had the Russell Westbrook injury. Russ was out. I think he rolled his ankle in shoot-arounds or in warm-ups, and he didn't really get to play much. And so that definitely impacts this a little bit. However, it's just been, like I said, this is a result of firing your coach. Like, genuinely, this is a result of that. They do. Michael Porter Jr. has that shoulder thing, and it's funny because the announcer was talking about it. He said he had a grade 1 version of what Michael Porter has. And when he was talking to like medical groups, they were saying you need to be off of it for 4 to 6 weeks. That was a grade 1, let alone a grade 2, which is what Michael Porter Jr. has. So it's definitely not the same team, but I think it's also just a product of their coaching. I like how chippy it's been. That's what the playoffs are all about. But the fans chanting that at Brunson to me is gross. Look from our fan base on national TV, distasteful. Hope for a good series. Yeah, no, for sure. Want to keep it basketball, but like I said, it's a part of it sometimes. And I bet, and this is the part, right? This is why I feel like the Knicks fan base might respond. So that's the other part too. Everyone is banged up, right? Everyone is banged up at this point of the year. It wasn't that much of a problem the last 2 games, right, Bruce? Outside of the Russell Westbrook one, which was a new injury that happened right before game 3. So outside of that, they were able to compete the last 2 games. And like I kept pointing out, their late game execution of your Denver to me was very glaring. The fact that they weren't getting to their automatic sets, which is the high pick and roll with Jokic and Murray. And they look confused. People were looking around, if you notice, right? No Detroit fan would say this, and Knick fan says bullshit stuff. Whoa. We are in kumbaya mode right now, Bruce. We are in peace and harmony. Why you gotta always fuck it up? Why you trying to start? We are having a good conversation, man. Yo, you just hate the Knicks. You hate the Knicks, bro. You hate the Knicks. Wait, speaking, Denver missed Westbrook and Jokic plays too many times. Wait, speaking of which, and I wish Elijah was here because I posted a short yesterday about him coming at me talking about what do you call 12 millionaires sitting around watching the NBA finals, and he said the Knicks, ha ha ha. I swear, ever since that point, all of the worst things that could possibly happen to the Knicks have happened. We got injuries. We can't beat no top teams. Like everything bad that could have happened for the New York Knicks happened ever since he made that comment. So Elijah, I'm putting this year on you. This is your fault, bro. This is your fault. I think it's his fault. I think it was his fault. That was like at the end of January when that was during the end of January. I did see the short. New York Knicks, peanut butter Twix, K got the switch, Pistons in 6. No! It was a fantastic short. Do more. Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely start posting more of the funny stuff, man. But No, where did all the Pistons fans come from? Where's my New York fans at? We got Pistons fans. Bruce is over here rooting for the Warriors. Like, what? No, don't bring him up. Don't bring him up. I would not use Shannon Sharp's style right now. Don't bring him up in this. You almost got me in trouble the other day, man. Talking about, yo, did you see Shannon Sharp's? No, I didn't see Shannon Sharp's. I didn't see any of Shannon Sharp's shit. We're not reading it on here either. Like, yo, tell you, it was the wildest like couple days in sports, man. It was a wild couple days. Shador didn't go in the first round. I don't even watch football like that, but he didn't go in the first round. Wild stuff going on. Now let's look ahead to tonight's games, right? We got Boston in Orlando, the Pacers at Milwaukee, and the Lakers in Minnesota. Who y'all got, man? Who you guys got? Bruce, a Warriors fan. I haven't read anything on the Jimmy's injury. What is the consensus? He's going to be back or no? I would imagine, just because it's Jimmy Butler, that he plays. I saw one Heat fan post on Twitter, I think yesterday, saying the last time this happened, he had 56 and 42 or something like that when he had the same injury in Miami. And so that, I guess that's one way to look at it. I like I said, I imagine he plays, but regardless of whether he plays or not, I think if the Warriors are going to win, they're going to have to bring the ball up with Steph Curry a lot more, because they are bear hugging that man every time he's off the ball, so that he's not doing them any favors. I think Steph is going to have to be on the ball more for them to win the series, with or without Jimmy Butler on the floor. But tonight, what are the chances you guys think Orlando steals a game? We saw last year, right? We saw last year with the Celtics. They kept giving up. They would give up a game in the first and the second round. Just, it seemed like off of effort. Like, it seemed like there was a game in each of the series where they just didn't show up. And so I'm wondering if that's going to be this game or game 4. I think it's very possible that it's game 4. So I imagine Boston wins tonight, and I think if there was a game that they were going to give up, it's going to be game 4 in Orlando. So Boston wins tonight, but like I said, that duo of Banchero and Franz Wagner, those guys are a problem. Those guys are a problem. Indiana, Milwaukee. See, here, this is where I think it gets a little bit interesting, because we saw last year Indiana was terrible on the road in playoff games. And so I actually, oddly enough, I expect the Milwaukee Bucks to win tonight. I think we get one of those games where Tyrese Halliburton puts up 10 points and shoots like 12 times. I think this is one of those games. And I think we get a much better game out of Dame tonight. And they're home, so I think their guys will shoot. What's the problem with Doc Rivers, man? I feel like this guy don't put his best 5 out. Like, he just refuses to put his best 5 players out tonight. So I don't know what's up with him, man. He got to go and play Kevin Porter Jr. more. What's his name? AJ Green, AC Green, Jalen Green. I don't know. They got to play him more too, because they need some shooting on the floor, and they just don't have that. So AJ Green needs to play more. Kevin Porter needs to play more. Bobby Portis needs to play way more than Brook Lopez. And I think they could win tonight. Jimmy Butler is questionable for game 3. Steve Kerr says he's relatively optimistic about Jimmy Butler playing tomorrow. I think there's a chance he plays. Boston is losing tonight. Pacers lose tonight, but win game 4. You think Pacers win game 4? I think it gets a little sketchy. Like I said, I don't think they're a good away team. I think they're much better at home. I think there's a possibility they lose both games in Milwaukee. But there was the stat, Giannis just can't win a game. He's like 0-7 in his last playoff games played. So let's see if that trend continues. But I think he snaps it tonight. Which leaves us with the Lakers-Minnesota game. You guys think the Minnesota Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards figure out? You guys saw that? Anthony Edwards, like, it looked kind of like a zone. He's like, I'm confused. Anybody else see that? He's like, I don't know what that is. I was like, bro, they're doubling you. I don't think they figure it out because they didn't figure it out last year, so I don't expect them to figure it out. I think LA wins in Minnesota tonight. I'll tell you what, man, my Pistons need Malik Beasley to step up. The last 2 games, he's been absolutely abysmal. Schroeder has stepped up, but man, if we could get Beasley going, that would be huge. I'm with you. I'm with you, Vito. If they can get Malik Beasley, especially... Like, the Knicks took Tobias Harris out of that game last night. He's been massive for you guys all year, and especially in the last 2 games. But the Knicks did a great job of taking Tobias Harris out of that game mentally last night. He was worried about the physicality and the officials. He was complaining. He was yelling at them the whole game. So... you know, someone is going to have to step up, and Malik Beasley is going to have to be able to stretch the floor to give Cade Cunningham room to operate. But it might just be one of those games where if they call it similar the way they've been calling it, and we get the production from Cat, Brunson, and OG, Cade Cunningham might just have to go crazy for you guys to win a game. It might just have to be one of those. I think you guys... you know, are a star and a year away from really making some serious noise, man. It's a good setup y'all got over there, especially with the defense to really protect someone like Cade Cunningham. You guys can keep games close. But yeah, Malik Beasley will go a long way. Malik Beasley will definitely go a long way. But yeah, I got the Lakers tonight, man. I don't know about you guys, but I have the Lakers tonight going up 2-1. I think they continue to double. And I think being at home, we're going to see some wild stretches out of him trying to play a little bit of hero ball, kind of like how we saw with Brunson in game 2. I think we get some of that out of Anthony Edwards where he might get 30 plus, but he shoots like 30 times. And we'll see what they do with Julius Randle. Bron did a really good job of trying to stick him in single coverage, but also, like I said the other day, they really forced him to the outside, right, in the perimeter. If he's getting paint touches, if you're Julius Randle, it opens up your shooters, but if not, you're forcing him to go and drive, and he hasn't been super good at that as of late. So I expect the Lakers to win. Let's take a look at Saturday, because we got a whole long weekend ahead of us. Cleveland, Miami. I kind of got Miami in that game. I agree. I doubt we get the job done this year. To me, I think this year's playoffs are huge in terms of experience for our guys. Like you said, sign someone next season and try to make a run. Hey, man, my Knicks aren't going to go that much further, especially if we run into the Boston Celtics. So I think we got problems of our own, but optimistic but realistic a fan, man. That's a breath of fresh air. That's good to hear, especially with all the delusional fans we got on out here, man. Like, some guys just don't get it, but Cade Cunningham is special, man. Cade Cunningham is really, really special. How about OKC Memphis? This series needs to end. Please end this series. So OKC closes that out on Saturday. I think Miami takes game 3 against Cleveland, to be honest with you, and then game 4 is a toss-up. Let's see. Denver, Clippers. I think the Clippers go up 3-1 on Denver. Houston Warriors, they're going to be in Golden State. I got the Warriors at home against Houston. I think Jimmy's going to give enough of an emotional jump. I think they'll figure out the defense a little bit, put the ball in Steph Curry's hand. Yeah, I like the Warriors in game 3 against Houston. I highly recommend you come to a EuroLeague basketball game. The crowd there is not like in the United States. In Europe, the crowd is crazy. Is it like is it like a soccer game? That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard, Danny. And thank you for thank you for the comment. But is it more like a soccer vibe? Because I do kind of like the rowdiness, man. I do like when they get after it. It's a real competition between the fan bases. That's the vibe I get, like from videos. It's like every game feels like a rivalry game. It looks fun. That's why, even with the Knicks Pistons series right now, like I enjoy how physical it is. I enjoy how the fans are going at it. The Detroit fans are cursing out Jalen Brunson. I expect our fans in New York to start cursing out their players too, and it's just a whole back and forth. But fan bases is fun. I think it's fun personally. I think it's fun. Now let's look ahead to Sunday. Because we have 3 games on Sunday. Wait, hold up. Wait, they play. Oh no, they play tonight. I'm tripping. They play tonight. I'm tripping. So on Sunday, we have the Knicks game, right? Knicks Pistons game 4, Lakers Wolves, Celtics Magic, and we got the Bucks against the Pacers, all game 4. So we'll start with the Knicks. We're up 2-1. I think that's gonna be a close game. Man, I think the Pistons can take another game off of us. If they were gonna take a game, I think it would be the next game to go back to New York 2-2, and then I think we win 2 back-to-back. But I think I'm gonna try to speak it into existence, because I think that we need to win this game. If you're the New York Knicks, I think we have to win game 4. And then you start splitting games. It gets really sketchy. So I think we need to win game 4. So I think we win game 4 because we have to. I don't know if that's like quite the analysis y'all want to hear, but I think we win the game because we have to. I have a question. What is the second best league in European basketball? The Euro Cup or the FIBA Championship League? I'll be honest with you. I couldn't answer that question. I will say I see FIBA a lot more. In terms of, I think, just name and popularity, but in terms of competition, I could not answer that question. Let's see. Euro Cup. Oh, there's a conflict between them. Why is there a conflict between them? Is this something that is there drama over there that I've been missing out on? Do they play against each other? Do those 2 different leagues, do like their best teams go against each other? Because that'd be pretty cool. I would love to see like the championships from those guys play against the NBA championships. I think that would be really cool. But I'm not too familiar with the European circuit when it comes to basketball, man. I'm just NBA guy. Excuse me. Okay, so now we have game 4. So I said the Lakers are gonna win tonight. So that's 2-1 going into Minnesota. Does Minnesota tie that series up? I think Minnesota does tie that series up 2-2. Going into LA. So I think on Sunday, I think Lakers win tonight, and I think the Minnesota Timberwolves win on Sunday, which leads us to the Orlando Magic Boston Celtics game, which would be game 3. And like I said earlier, I think the Magic are going to win game. Wait, why does it say game 4, but Boston is up 2-0? Am I tripping? Y'all see this? Wait, what? Look at this. Game 4, Boston leads 2-0. Game 4, Indy leads 2-0. Something is not right over there, but I have, like I said, I think Boston takes game 3 and I think they lose game 4. So game 3 goes to the Boston Celtics in Orlando. And then I think Milwaukee actually wins at home against Indiana. So that's going to be 2-1 going into game 4. But that's going to do it for me for now, man. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I know it was a lot. Today. It was a lot of games to go over. It's gonna be even more games to go over on Monday. But thank you guys for hanging out. Before I get out of here, please like, comment, and subscribe. All that good stuff. I really appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. You guys are the greatest. Thank you, Bruce, for hanging out with me as always, as you always do. I appreciate you. Thank you, Vito. Shout out to you guys in Detroit, man. Thanks for all the kind words in the comments. That was really fun talking to you. Teef Mata, thank you for coming, hanging out, and commenting. Even though you said the Pistons are gonna win, go Knicks. And Danny, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. I really, really appreciate it. Y'all were awesome today. Y'all could have been anywhere on the internet, but y'all were here with me, and I appreciate you for that. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys later. Y'all have a good weekend, man. Peace, peace, peace. I'll see you guys on Monday.